Greetings, humans. It's week 7. It's time for the FootballDiehards.com injury preview, review, update, overview thing we like to do every week. I'm Bob Harris, senior editor here at FootballDiehards.com. I'm about to go through all the games in chronological order. This week, unlike last, I'm actually going to have the order correct. Sorry about that. I've double-checked my list this week to get it right. So we'll start out by saying the Panthers, Browns, Steelers, and Buccaneers are on bye. Get all those guys out of your lineup. Also, I'll get to him a little later, but Alvin Kamara is out this week. Devontae Adams out this week. Bench Marcus Mariota and Josh Rosen. Oh, wait, you probably already did. But their teams did as well, so we'll get into those things as well. So we'll start out with the early afternoon kickoffs. The Arizona Cardinals at the New York Giants. David Johnson, Christian Kirk, Max Williams, all game time decisions. Little worried about David Johnson. Cliff Kingsbury said on Friday that if the game had been Friday, that Johnson wouldn't play. Obviously, the game is on Sunday, so he has a little time. It's an ankle injury, unlike the back issue last week. So it's a new injury. It's something to watch. Christian Kirk won't be back on the field till he's 100%. I don't think he's 100% yet, so I'm not sure he'll be back on the field. Max Williams, the tight end's playing a greater role. Check an article on the late-breaking updates section of the site. I go into a little detail on that. They're not being very productive, but they're just seeing more time. In part, maybe because Christian Kirk has been out and they've been running a few little, maybe slightly less 4 receiver sets, which is still their base. On the other side of the ball, Saquon Barkley off the injury report. Evan Ingram off the injury report. Wayne Gallman also off the injury report. Sterling Shepard ruled out again with the concussion. It's his second concussion this year. I wouldn't expect a quick return for him. On Barkley and Ingram, Pat Shurmur played it a little coy, said he wasn't playing games, but he wasn't sure if they're going to play. Well, they're not on the injury report, so he's definitely playing games. I would fully expect him to play. It's maybe something you'll want to watch, but go ahead and get him in your lineup and be prepared for any last-second switch-ups, but don't expect them. Off the injury report is the official version there for Barkley and Ingram. And it's a great matchup for Ingram, isn't it? Every tight end against Arizona, if we can. For the Green Bay Packers hosting the Oakland Raiders, I mentioned Devontae Adams already officially ruled out. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is listed as questionable with knee and ankle issues. Geronimo Allison has concussion and a chest. If you saw him, he looked like he was knocked out cold. But he was initially listed as doubtful on Friday. He was upgraded to questionable today, Saturday. So he seems to have a reasonable chance of playing. Robert Tonyan, the tight end, still listed as doubtful. Jimmy Graham off the injury report. So, look, there are guys. Alan Lazard is a guy that really popped last week. Darius Shepard did not. He struggled. They signed Ryan Grant, the veteran free agent. So, Jake Kumaro is there as well. But my guess is Valdez-Scantling is able to go, and we'll see about Allison. But the fact that he was upgraded on Saturday is a good sign. Not a good sign for the Oakland Raiders. Tyrell Williams ruled out again. He's got plantar fasciitis in a foot. Talked to Scott Barrett from NBC Sports Bay Area yesterday, and he says John Gruden is really disappointed. They really feel like he's a vital part of this offense. They've been pushing him to get back, but it's taken some time. He hasn't practiced in a few weeks. Did not play in Week 5 in London. Had the off week to get better. Did not get better. Still hasn't practiced this week, so a bit of concern. Guys like Trevor Davis, Hunter Renfrow, will be asked to move up in the rotation. Renfro's been there all along, but Trevor Davis is a guy. And they traded for Zay Jones before the bye, so he's had the bye week to get up to speed on the offense, and the coaches seem to like him, the former Buffalo Bill wide receiver. So maybe we'll see a little bit of him as well. San Francisco 49ers at Washington. Raheem Mostert is listed as questionable with a knee issue. Deebo Samuel's ruled out with a groin injury. So he's been pretty busy in the offense, so they'll be looking for people to fill those targets. George Kittle off the injury report this week, started out with the groin injury. He played through it last week and wasn't an issue, and now he's off the injury report. For Washington, Chris Thompson is out with a toe injury, so Wendell Smallwood will be the change of pace behind Adrian Peterson. Expect to see a lot of Adrian Peterson. It's a tough matchup for both the run and the pass for Washington. The San Francisco defense has been phenomenal. Vernon Davis also ruled out, and again with Jordan Reed already on IR, that leaves Jeremy Sprinkle as their top tight end. The Jacksonville Jaguars are at Cincinnati. There are some issues here. Dede Westbrook came up with a shoulder injury on Thursday. He's listed as questionable. Marquise Lee ruled out. Jeff Swaim, the tight end, ruled out. Josh Oliver, the rookie tight end, is finally off the injury report. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury since training camp. Looks like he'll make his debut against the Bengals. In addition, maybe Chris Conley gets a little more work with Marquise Lee out. Maybe even more if Dede Westbrook is out. I wouldn't dig too far down that depth chart there. looking for fantasy value, you're going to be chasing a little bit of hope there, and not a lot to hang your hat on. AJ Green still out. Still no timetable for his return. He was hoped to get on the practice field this week, and he did not. So, not a good sign for that. For the Los Angeles Rams against Atlanta in Atlanta, Malcolm Brown's rule is doubtful, so don't expect him to play. Darrell Henderson will move up in the rotation behind one Todd Gurley, who was removed from the injury report on Friday. So good sign for him after sitting out last week with a thigh bruise, and now he'll be the lead back. This is a great matchup for the passing attack, great matchup for the rushing attack. Falcons defense has been horrible, so maybe hoping for a little bit of a track meet here. A lot of points is what we're hoping for. For the Indianapolis Colts, hosting the Houston Texans, Paris Campbell's ruled out with the same abdominal issue. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, he had it repaired. So I would expect him to be out just a little while longer. For the Texans, everybody's good to go, and that includes Kenny Stills, who's off the injury report this week. For the Miami Dolphins, Josh Rosen, I mentioned, was benched. For Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jakeem Grant is listed as questionable with the hamstring injury that sidelined him last week. Albert Wilson and Mark Walton off the injury report. A lot of talk about a Kenyon Drake possibly getting traded, so you wonder if they won't lighten up his workload to keep him healthy. Walton seems to be a guy. He started last week, but Drake still got the bulk of the workload in that game. For Buffalo, everyone's of interest is off the injury report. That includes Devin Singletary, who seems like he'll get a shot here. Look, it's a great matchup. We want to get all these guys in. Tyler Kroft also off the injury report as well. He's been out. I don't think he's played yet. I think he's played one game this year, but the tight end they acquired from Cincinnati, they signed as a free agent, former Bengal, has had foot and ankle injuries all throughout the season, so maybe get a chance to see him as well. The late afternoon kickoffs. Mitchell Trubisky practiced fully all week for the Bears, hoping to return from that left shoulder injury. He's still listed as questionable. I suspect he will play, but you're going to have to wait, and it's a late afternoon kickoff. Look, it's quarterback. So unless you're in a 2-quarterback league or some similar super flex situation, you don't have to force him back into the lineup against the New Orleans Saints, which is a pretty tough matchup, right? And on the other side of the ball, it's a mess. There's no Alvin Kamara, no Jared Cook, no Drew Brees, of course, and no Traquan Smith, still dealing with an ankle injury. So Teddy Bridgewater continues to start a quarterback. Latavius Murray will be his top back. Maybe Dwayne Washington moves up in the rotation as a change of pace. Josh Hill is the primary tight end with Jared Cook out. So it's a tough matchup for both teams. Both defenses are playing extremely well. So set your expectations accordingly. For the Baltimore Ravens at Seattle, Marquise Brown did not practice all week. Early in the week, John Harbaugh said he needed to get on the practice field at some point to play. On Friday, after he did not get on the practice field all week, John Harbaugh said, well, we don't have any rule that says you can't play. So he's listed as questionable. Didn't play last week with the same injury. I'd be a little concerned this week after he did not practice all this week. So there you have that. Will Dissly, of course, on the other side of the ball, ruptured Achilles tendon, done for the year, hopes to return for 2020. Luke Wilson rolls into that tight end spot, or at least the receiving portion of that. So Marcus Mariota benched against the Chargers. Ryan Tannehill will get the start in this one. Delaney Walker listed as questionable. Seemed like he was going a little harder earlier in the week, and then later in the week the ankle either flared up or they're just resting him. He's an aging veteran. A lot of rumors about possible trades for Seattle at the tight end position. Delaney Walker's been mentioned. Tyler Eifert's been mentioned. O.J. Howard's been mentioned. We'll see what plays out there. But Marcus Mariota bench, Ryan Tannehill in. Delaney Walker is questionable against the Chargers. For the Chargers, Michael Badgley looks like he'll return to kick. He's listed as questionable, but he worked pretty well this week. Has not kicked yet this season. Injured his groin in the week leading up to week 1, if you'll recall. So should make his debut in this one. Travis Benjamin is out. He's been placed on IR. Season over for him. Everyone else is off the injury report there. And we'll see what Melvin Gordon, if he's been lobbying for more carries, we'll see if he gets them. Sunday Night Football. Boy, I'd love to play Amari Cooper against the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. Even an improving. Jalen Mills reinstated. Ronald Darby listed as questionable for that one. But Amari Cooper also questionable with the thigh bruise. Made it just through a series last week before he left the field. Randall Cobb did not play last week with a back injury. He is also questionable. Looks like the Cowboys could get both their starting offensive tackles back. That'd be great news for Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott and the passing attack. But Cooper and Cobb, both questionable. Sunday night, it's a great matchup. You want to have some pivots, some fallbacks. Maybe some of the Cowboys down the line. Delvin Smith, Tavon Austin was very busy last week without Randall Cobb. Cedric Wilson, if you're in desperation mode. On the other side of the ball, Deshaun Jackson out once again. seems like he's going to be another week or so, maybe even 2 weeks. I heard a couple weeks ago that they was aiming for a week 7 to 9 window. So week 7, here we are, not back. So hopefully soon. Monday Night Football. Demaryius Thomas, Chris Herndon don't have the final injury designations, but both of them, Thomas has been limited. Herndon has not been practicing, has a hamstring injury. He was added to the active roster this week, but I think his chances of playing are pretty slim. For the Patriots, Rex Burkhead, Julian Edelman, Philip Dorsett have all been working on a limited basis, seem to be reasonably well on track to play. Not so much Josh Gordon, who has yet to practice as of Saturday morning. He did not practice Saturday, nor did Ryan Izzo, the tight end, or Matt Lacoste, the other tight end. Izzo was concussed in Thursday's practice, seems all of a certain to not play. Lacoste expected to miss a few weeks. And now it sounds like Gordon won't go. Jacoby Myers would move up in the rotation as well. So there you have that. Watch the main section of the site, the late-breaking news section for more. I'll have the official injury report for the Monday night game when it's released and those designations, but I think that pretty well laid it out. Otherwise, tons of stuff on the main page of the site, lots of columns, the usual audio, video, all that kind of stuff. Great stuff from Bobby Gomes, Kyle Dvorak, myself, Emil Cadlick, Justin Lanero. We've got articles from John Lobbs, DraftKings. The scholar sheet of DraftKings knowledge is up. I love that piece. My own DFS 3 and Out, Kyle's Cash, and tournament game breakdowns. Justin's like digging the trace. We got digging in the crates. Brad Cruz, one of the best high stakes players in the land, does his sit starts. The Thursday and Saturday editions or Sunday editions are both available. Sunday up right now. Mike Valverde, Gary Davenport, Evan Tarciano, and the rest of the crowd. Matthew Sharon. All kinds of fun stuff up. So check that out. Hit the main page of the site early Sunday. Kyle and Bobby will be going through their final roster build moves on DFS, and that's at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll be on the SiriusXM Fantasy pregame show at 11 a.m. to 1 with Jeff Mans. You can tune into Football Diehards on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio every weeknight, 6 p.m. Saturday night, catch us on NFL Radio, me and Mike Dempsey, Channel 88 on your Sirius dial for 3 hours from 8 to 11. Otherwise, watch the main page of the site. Check the late-breaking update section. All the news will be there. We'll be doing the inactives of interest right up through each of the kickoffs. So we'll see you there, and good luck this week.